Hello, my name is Kiana Whitlock. I graduated from UTSA in 2018 with a bachelor's degree in sociology with a minor in communication. Currently, I am pursuing a master's of special education following the applied behavior analysis track that emphasizes autism. For 2.5 years, I have been a registered behavior technician providing behavior therapy services to children with autism and other developmental disorders. I am working towards becoming a board-certified behavior analyst and providing services to many different populations. Prior to this semester, I did not know how interdisciplinary learning and teaching would help me if I did not plan to work in public school settings. However, this course has given me a thorough overview of interdisciplinarity, including what it is and its history, how we can adhere to a variety of diverse learners, and foundational learning theories that can best serve learners of all populations. Let's begin with recognizing the socio-political nature of education. After reviewing a 2006 reading by Ladson Billings, I know that historically, students of color have been systematically denied access to an equal education throughout the 19th and 20th centuries. There is a disparity between funding for primarily white areas and primarily non-white areas, with white school districts receiving more funding and resources than non-white school districts. According to Golden, throughout the push to get all students through high school, the upper half of achieving students often thrive while the lower half stays stagnant. Unfortunately, non-white students consistently produce lower rates of achievement than their white counterparts. The achievement gap does not only affect racial and ethnic minorities, it also affects students with disabilities. Since the No Child Left Behind Act requires all students, regardless of ability, to reach the same standards of proficiency, students with disabilities show significantly larger gaps in achievements than their non-disabled counterparts. According to the Texas Education Agency, in 2018, only 38% of students with disabilities met approaching grade level expectations in reading. I believe these scores do not truly reflect the academic achievement of these learners and that it deflects special educators from being able to teach to their students' needs. Anyon produced findings that students with a lower socioeconomic status often receive fewer resources and lower quality education than students from higher socioeconomic backgrounds. Freer explained how systematic oppression is still affecting minority populations, including African Americans, Hispanics, American Indians, students with lower socioeconomic status, and students with disabilities. I believe social class, ability, and ethnicity should not determine the quality of education a student receives. Many schools with diverse populations teach students in one way, and one way is not always the best way for every learner. I want to collaborate with my learners to ensure they have a voice in their education and that their needs are not being overlooked. Before explaining some foundational theories of interdisciplinary learning and teaching, I will first give a brief overview on interdisciplinarity. According to Moran, interdisciplinarity is a combination of disciplines for a purpose, to produce new knowledge and to enhance what we already know. Using interdisciplinary, we can create new findings, examine concepts at a deeper level, supplement the gaps in what we know, and enact social change and gain greater cultural awareness. Nisani suggests that through collaborating disciplines, we can help solve difficult or widespread problems and lead to teaching a wider range of knowledge. There are 6 foundational learning theories covered in this course. First, Piaget's 4 stages of cognitive development map out how children learn at certain developmental stages of their lives. Operations, which are specific interactions with an object, and operational structures comprise the basis of knowledge. Throughout the stages of their lives, children are gradually able to symbolize objects, manipulate the symbols, learn their interactions with each other, and make hypotheses from abstract thoughts and relationships while learning to create meanings through experience. Second, Skinner's behaviorism focuses on the relation between behavior and environment. Behavior, which is anything an organism does, is exhibited as a response to stimuli in the environment. Operant conditioning involves shaping behavior into desired responses by providing reinforcement for those responses. Behaviorists do not regard mental processes, but only the actions that are exhibited onto the environment. By examining behavior in this way, we can use students' motivations to achieve desired learning results by reinforcing appropriate responses. Third, Vygotsky's concept of the zone of proximal development, otherwise known as ZPD, considers what skills and tasks a child can independently perform and those that they cannot perform independently. The ZPD is the zone in between these two areas and is the realm of skills that they can perform with help from an adult, peers, or a group. Vygotsky emphasizes teaching within this zone to help students perform at higher levels and to promote proactive learning. Fourth, Knowles introduced an adult-centered learning theory, andragogy, which tailors teaching to the assumptions of learning as an adult. Adult learning differs from that of children in at least 4 different ways: changes in self-concept, the role of experience, readiness to learn, and their orientation towards learning. Fifth, Lave and Wenger's theory of situated learning asserts that all activity is situated within a given context, and that learning is a product of interaction with society and environment. Learning, thinking, and knowing are socially constructed by the meanings that are shaped through human interaction. Meaning is constantly being shaped through the problem-solving nature of people. Finally, Papert and Harel's theory of constructionism emphasizes learning through literal construction of knowledge. Meanings are constructed through building, whether a student is following a blueprint or is letting their work lead the way. Ideally, through constructionism, the knowledge being built can produce change deeper than what is seen at a surface level. As a behavior therapist, I use the principles of applied behavior analysis, which is derived from Skinner's behaviorism, to teach children with autism new behaviors. However, while reading about Knowles' andragogy, it gave me new insight into teaching to adult learners. I am interested in one day working with adults with developmental disorders or other disabilities, and I believe Knowles' assumptions regarding learning as an adult will be helpful in shaping the way I work with them. Next, let's talk about how key foundational theories are manifested in diverse contexts. Papert and Harel's constructionism promotes learning through construction and promotes collaboration among learners. The eventual goal is to induce change that could affect the bigger picture. This could affect changes in curricula, technological advances, perspectives, and more. When students from diverse backgrounds collaborate to construct a project or to construct meaning, it may provide insight into their lives and cultures. I believe constructionism could be very beneficial to productive and tolerant classrooms. Knowles' andragogy could be used in night schools for adults, career preparation courses, college environments where there are often young and older adults in the same classrooms, and in settings to teach adults with disabilities. And I believe Lave and Wenger's theory of situated learning can be incredibly useful in diverse classrooms, as learning, thinking, and knowing are socially constructed by the meanings that are shaped through human interaction. When learners from different backgrounds work with each other, others can easily influence how they learn or what meanings they construct. This can lead to understanding others better in terms of how others may think, learn, and feel. Next, let's assess how key foundational theories meet the needs of diverse learners. Vygotsky's ZPD helps learners attain skills and knowledge according to their current skill sets. This theory would help teachers adhere to and develop the individual skill sets that learners have regardless of their background. Lee signified the importance of teaching to the cultural backgrounds of individual learners to increase academic gains. For example, community funds of knowledge use the knowledge that learners have from social and practical non-academic settings and build upon it to teach important concepts in school. I believe this goes hand in hand with ZPD by using the strengths and knowledge of learners to construct new knowledge. Knowles' andragogy is useful in teaching adults, but it also defines the differences between adults and children in the way they learn. Children typically are more dependent, have less life experience, are more subject-oriented rather than problem-oriented, and are normally motivated to learn by the prospect of completing their program and moving on to something new. This provides key insights on how to teach children. In addition, it is important to remember that today's learners are growing up in a very different world than many of today's educators. Prensky discussed the disconnect between 21st century learners and educators who grew up during the 20th century. Students these days are greatly tuned into technology-based systems, including electronic game-style lessons, virtual reality learning, webcams, and efficient online grading systems. I believe that using these tools, we can connect to many diverse populations and increase their academic gains and quality of education. Now I will discuss my action plan that will integrate these ideas into my practice. After going through this course, I know that there are learners who are underserved and whose academic needs are not being met. So during the next year of my master's program, I'm going to take what I learn and be conscious of the fact that not everybody is receiving the same education. In regards to the special needs population, which I believe my career will be centered around, I know that they are not receiving an adequate education. As a behavior analyst, I will evaluate children with special needs and work with their interdisciplinary teams to form an appropriate education plan. I will provide training to teachers that focus on behaviorism and helping the children make progress in individual goals. And instead of being held to standardized test standards, I would like for special needs learners to be tested on their baseline skills in reading, writing, and math, and then have their progress determined by how much personal gain in those areas that they show. Interdisciplinary strategies allow us to teach to the strengths of individual learners while encouraging productive collaboration among classmates. I understand that it can be difficult for learners to connect to instruction, so I want to use the students' cultural and social backgrounds to make class relevant and to show them how knowledge can be applied in their everyday life. The world is becoming more and more diverse, and I believe that we need to adapt to provide the best education possible for every student, regardless of gender, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, or ability.